Ahoy! I'm the comic book hunter, also known as just Hunter,
Hello there. I'm History of the Flash, but you could call me JD.
and welcome to Hero Story episode
115.
115. Thank you. For those of you just joining us on a Hero Story is a podcast all about Marvel and DC comic books and more this week, I guess. Uh, for those of you who haven't heard us before, we usually talk about the news of the week at the start of each episode, where we go over all the news that happened through comic books, from live action news to gaming news and just anything that happened in the comic book world in general. From there, we go on to the comics of the week. This week's comics are, for those who just want to skip to that, Three Jokers, number 3, Batman Superman, number 13, The Flash, number 764, Red Hood Outlaw, number 50, The Amazing Spider-Man, number 51, Aquaman, number 64, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Last Ronin, number 1. A story about 3 Ninja Turtles that are dead, one is alive. Who is he? We kind of know. I might briefly talk about that later on in the episode, but won't go fully in depth because Three Jokers is out. Is there anything else you want to add, JD?
No, this is well, I'll just say I sound a little stuffy tonight. Do not fear, I am not dying of COVID-19. I just have bad allergies and a shift of weather in the beautiful state of New York, and pet dander and all that good stuff has made me sound a little stuffy, but don't worry, I'm not sick. So you might, if you're on YouTube, youtube.com/hero story, you might see me blow my nose several times throughout the episode, but I'm not sick. So
Looking
full
forward to
disclosure right here.
it. Looking forward to it. Then we'll just jump right into the news of the week. So, welcome to the news of the week, starting with not a lot of news, but quite a bit of major news. Our first bit of news of the week is Moon Knight was casted. Finally, I feel like this was the one that I was waiting for the most when they announced the Disney Plus shows. Oscar Isaac is in talks to play Moon Knight, but he's practically confirmed at this point. Several major news outlets have reported that he is going to be Moon Knight, so it's pretty much confirmed here. What are your thoughts?
This one surprised me. I figured, after Oscar Isaac came out, with John Boyega and a few of the other sequel stars, that they didn't really enjoy working with Disney on the Star Wars stuff. I figured he was kind of done with Disney, and I, I thought him and John Boyega said things like I don't care if this damages my career, like this has to go out. And he was very frustrated because he wanted Poe to have a different storyline in the sequels, especially with a love interest in the sequels. So he was very frustrated with Disney. So when I saw he's cast in a Disney show, I was like, that's surprising. And maybe even more surprising, and same thing that we talked about with Sam Jackson. He's kind of a big actor to be doing a TV show. I
Yeah,
mean, I know most people know him from, Star Wars, but he's in Ex Machina, he's in
Annihilation.
Drive, he's in like some pretty decently sized movies. So
Mhm.
he's a pretty big actor. So I thought this was kind of surprising. And then the cast, of course, I thought was surprising. I thought for sure they were going to end up going with a Jewish actor, but they went with Oscar Isaac, who I guess is
He's
part.
like 1/9 Jewish or something like that.
Yeah, he's like I think through his dad's side or something like that. But I was, yeah, so I was kind of surprised about Oscar Isaac. I don't hate the casting. I don't really know much about Moon Knight. I haven't really read Moon Knight. I would like to. Um, but yeah, I don't know. This was one that kind of caught me off guard.
I really do like it, honestly. I feel like he does kind of look like Mark Spector in a way, who is Moon Knight's alter ego. So I could see it. When it comes to the Jewish casting, a lot of people are upset that, hey, this guy isn't a full on Jewish person. Why is he playing a Jewish character? Mark Spector is Jewish, but him being Jewish isn't what makes the character. And as controversial as that might sound, I'm willing to take a stand and be like, it's okay for this character to not be like played by a Jewish man. I think it would add to the casting a lot. That's a good thing, but it's okay in this situation. It's not like Black Panther where, all right, he is an African character, and you need to make that because being part of Africa, like being an African character is part of his character. Words, you know what I mean, like
English, very
English.
strong.
Yeah, Black Panther
No, no, no.
needs
I,
that.
I I definitely understand what you're saying. Listen, I take the point of view, and whether it's viewed as controversial or not is, up to the listeners, I guess. But at the end of the day, it is acting, right? You're not actually the character you're playing, so
Yeah.
some things can be acted.
Mhm.
Now, would it have been good for them to get a Jewish actor? Yeah, I'm sure it would have been. But there are plenty of people who have played Jewish characters in media that are not. The perfect example, which I brought up to our buddy Comic Boy Tyler, was Michael Fassbender as Magneto. Michael Fassbender is not Jewish, but he played Eric Lenscher, who is Jewish, and I mean, he did a good job portraying him,
Yeah, you
right?
did a
You know,
fantastic
he's,
job. Yeah.
I mean, one of my favorite castings of all time. But I thought he played, you know, even in the Jewish role of like the Nazi hunting stuff, that was awesome. So,
Mhm.
listen, I think that at the end of the day, some things can be acted, and this is one of those things that, you know, can be acted. And from what I've heard from people who are into Moon Knight, being Jewish isn't the biggest part of his character.
It's not.
So
It's not at all.
now I don't know. Is it like mentioned once and then kind of just like in canon, or is it like something that comes up multiple times? Because I think technically speaking, Barry Allen is also Jewish, but it was brought up once in some old comic and never really talked about again. Same
Isn't
thing
Hal
with
Jordan as well?
huh?
Isn't Hal Jordan as well?
I don't know about how, but definitely
I could be
Barry.
wrong. I could be very
And
wrong.
I think Kyle Rayner was mentioned in one comic as being half Mexican, never really brought up again. Dick Grayson being I think Romani,
Yeah.
and never really brought up again. Like some of those things that are introduced. So is it like that for Moon Knight, where it's kind of brought up once and never really referenced again?
From what I've read, yes. I wouldn't consider myself the biggest Moon Knight person. I've read quite a few Moon Knight comics before, and as well as just him cameoing. And he's been on the Avengers before. I've read Avengers books with him, and he was in the recent Avengers arc too. But being Jewish isn't a part of his character. It's not like you're comparing Daredevil, where Daredevil, Matt Murdock, is Catholic, and that is a huge part of his character. Matt
But
Murdock
but
is
but I
a
think that's another one that, like, I mean, I don't know what Charlie Cox is, but if he's not Catholic, that's not exactly a deal breaker to me. That's another one. It's acting,
yeah.
and perhaps different. Maybe I'll catch some heat for this, but it's like, you know, Charles Xavier. Does a guy in a wheelchair need to play Charles Xavier? No, it's acting. You
Yeah.
know.
Exactly. I guarantee that since he is a Jewish character, and I see him a lot of like just from this casting alone, a lot of fans are passionate that he needs to be a Jewish person. I feel like in Moon Knight alone, we'll see some Jewish traits. We'll see him like clearly say that he is a Jewish man, but I feel like it's not gonna go with the plot of this move, like of the show. I don't think it's gonna like have a deep impact on why the character's doing what he's doing. In the end, Moon Knight is a mentally insane character who wears all white because he wants to be an easy target. Like he's a crazy superhero like that. So I don't think he's just gonna be that major of a. I don't think there's gonna be that major of a Jewish plot point in that, and that's okay. I mean, it's cool if there is, but I don't think it's as major as Matt Murdock being Catholic or Black Panther being black or something like that. You know?
Or Magneto being Jewish, for example.
Yeah,
Even though, again, it's something that could probably be acted, but it is a big root to the character.
it is. Yeah, and
Uh,
it's more so to Magneto than it is to Moon Knight. So
Yeah. No, listen, I think that, you know, Oscar's a very talented actor. I think the idea, and again, I haven't read Moon Knight, so maybe I'm wrong here, but like in Ex Machina, he kind of has that very wacky personality where, you know,
Mhm.
you've seen the movie, right?
I have, yeah.
He's got the very wacky personality. The seems a little crazy, so maybe he can bring some of that to Moon Knight.
Yeah, Moon Knight's kind of like that. He's less vocal. He's more a very quiet person, but when he does talk, it kind of makes everyone in the room uncomfortable, kind of
Uh,
thing. He is very much a Batman type of character. I guess for those listening that don't know much about Moon Knight, so bit of a weird origin. He was killed and brought back to life by an Egyptian god. From there, he didn't necessarily gain powers, but he is very Bruce Wayne like, where he is rich and uses his money to make his own gadgets. He has not batarangs, but similar to batarangs. They're in shapes of moons, and he goes around in a white suit and he hunts people and he kills them. Though he is one of the superheroes that has like no kill rule. He will kill someone. He convinces his enemies that he doesn't exist. He likes to appear as sort of like a ghost in a way, most thugs at least, not his main villains. So my favorite scene ever is when he's chasing down a sniper who is taking out people that he used to work with, and the sniper's shooting at Moon Knight, but every time Moon Knight's able to dodge, and Moon Knight the whole time is trying to talk to the sniper, convincing him that you can't hit me because I'm not real. And it makes the sniper kind of go insane through that single fight scene. It's really cool that way. So he is very manipulative, but in a in a comic book, dark yet heroic kind of way because he's doing it to bad guys. But yeah, he has several different personalities as well. Sometimes he's Moon Knight, sometimes he's Mr. Knight, where he wears a white suit and a white balaclava and makes deals with people. So he's a cool character, and I'm looking forward to his Disney Plus show. And I think Oscar Isaac is a fantastic casting, way better than Keanu Reeves. I love Keanu Reeves; he's a fantastic person, but acting wise, Oscar Isaac is not a bit, but way better in my opinion.
You've clearly modeled your looks after Keanu Reeves.
Exactly. Yeah, I love Keanu Reeves, but he kind of talks like this in every movie, and
Yeah,
that kind of bothers me.
I'm a fan of the John Wick movies, but I don't really watch them for acting.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I love the John Wick movies, and I smile when he makes references, being like, "We need guns, lots of guns," but that's not well delivered. It's just
Yeah.
like, "Hey, I get it, because Matrix." So I know kung fu. Anyways, Keanu Reeves, I would love to see him in the MCU, but I think Oscar Isaac is a way better actor than he is. No offense, Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, I don't think Keanu Reeves is listening, but yeah, no
Yeah,
offense, bud.
well, you never know.
Yeah, I never know.
Next bit of news is our first look at Red Hood on Titans. Pretty good.
Not bad at all. Yeah,
Yeah,
listen, I was expecting worse. I don't know why I was expecting worse though. Like I know Titans is a bad show, but like their suits are pretty good.
For
I
the
think with
most
the
part.
exception of a few, their suits are pretty good. I mean, their Nightwing one is
Nightwing,
pretty good.
Robin,
Robin's pretty
Hawk,
good.
Dove.
Dove,
Yeah.
yeah, Deathstroke.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, no, the Red Hood suit is fine. Listen, I got no real complaints on it. I'm not the biggest Red Hood guy, so to me it didn't really matter too much anyway, and I won't be watching Titan season 3. But hey, you know, good for them. Oh, speaking of Titan season 3, they're looking to cast Tim Drake,
Oh
but
yeah.
they're looking to swap Tim Drake. They're looking originally the rumors that was for that there was English. Wow.
English sucks this week.
The original rumors was that they were looking. Wow, English is really tough today. The original rumor was that they were looking for an Asian actor to play Tim Drake, and now it switched that they're looking for a black actor to play Tim Drake. But nothing is confirmed on any of that. But that's the rumors going on right now on Tim Drake. So yeah, in addition to Red Hood, we will be seeing a possibly different Tim Drake. I'm a huge Tim fan. Again, it's another thing where the news doesn't bother me that much because it's kind of just like whatever. I don't watch the show anyway, but it's whatever. I don't like.
It's
just,
happening. Maybe
if it was something that I was watching, I'd be like, no, you can't change Tim Drake. But I'm just like, I don't care.
Well, that
And I
being
love
said,
Tim, I don't care.
Tim is a white character, but him being white has nothing to do with
There's
character.
a lot of there's a lot of fanon, which is fan canon for anyone who doesn't know the Twitter terms. Fanon that Tim Drake has Asian descent, which I never understood where that came from.
It's
but
because Ryan Potter made a cool fighting video.
Right.
2014
Ryan Potter made it.
or
Yeah.
something, or like 2015.
So when they were considering casting an Asian, I was like, oh, they're going with what Twitter wants. But yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't watch Titans, so I don't really care. Same thing with Red Hood. Like it's whatever. I don't watch the show, so I don't ultimately care that much.
Yeah, I watched season 1 and 2. I don't think I'll watch.
I watched season 1 and I watched a little bit of season 2 and mostly just kept up with all the stupidities. So
yeah, I didn't enjoy any of it when I watched, so I don't think I'll be watching season 3. Maybe I'll tune in for the premiere, like the first episode, but I don't know if I'll continue after that. Yeah, and I wasn't the greatest fan, but as far as Tim's casting, I'm on the same boat as you. I don't care.
I don't watch the show. I don't care. Yeah,
but
same thing with the Red Hood. Red Hood doesn't look bad, right? It looks pretty good. So
it's concept art though, so we haven't actually seen the actor in this costume, and the actor is
kind of small.
Small, yeah, he's short. He's a little small guy, so it's gonna be weird having this tiny Red Hood going around.
You know what his name is?
No.
I have no idea. I was about to just look up his height because I was curious.
I know his Instagram's Kurdog.
Yeah, I know it's Kurdog.
He comments on a lot of stuff. Yeah, but yeah, I don't. Yeah, look up his height while you're doing that.
Curran Walters.
Red Hood himself, though. Did you see the leaks? There's a supposedly.
Oh, he's 5'8". Okay, he looks smaller than 5'8". He's 5'8".
Oh yeah, huh.
5'8". As a 5'10", 5'11" individual myself, that makes me feel a little bit.
That being said, I always imagine Red Hood is like
6'3", built like 250. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, usually when he's with the Bat family, he's usually drawn as the taller one, the Raphael of the group. So we'll have to wait and see. There were script leaks. I don't know if you saw them or not.
I
of
did not see them.
why he's becoming Red Hood. So in the comics, he
Because
becomes
isn't it because he like, oh wait, isn't it because he gets like mad at like the Titans or something like
yeah,
that?
yeah. So in the comics, it's a little different,
Cringe.
Joker kills him, and he comes back and realizes Batman didn't avenge him. Oh my god! And he replaced him of all things. Oh my god! So I'm gonna take Joker's old identity and I'm gonna beat Batman's ass, which is like okay, yeah, that's Red Hood's story. That makes sense. But in Titans, it's the Titans were kind of mean to him, and they said, hey Jason, you shouldn't be on the team, and now he's sad, so he's going to be Red Hood and go fight the Titans.
I just, you know what? I don't have the energy to care. I don't. I wish I did. I just don't. Yeah, Titans, whatever. If you like Titans, that's fine. If that's your thing, that's cool. Not for me. Not for Hunter.
Yeah,
Not
no.
for a hero story.
New
In more
Batwoman.
important in more important news, Deadpool rumored to be in Spider-Man 3. Rumor, whatever. Everyone's rumored to be in Spider-Man 3. Turns out you, the listener, are also rumored to be in Spider-Man 3.
Yep.
I
Those
actually
of
had
you
someone on
listening are going to be, you may just be in Spider-Man 3. If you're
someone in
in,
a DM sent me a thing about Spider-Man 3 is looking for extras in the New York area. So as an individual in the New York area, I guess I can go play an extra in Spider-Man.
you should totally try. That'd be awesome. If you were.
That would be very cool. I might have to do it.
I have
It's
been an extra
the
in a movie before, so yeah, fun fact. So it
what
is
movie?
quite not so fun. Well, the movie I'll explain. I'll reveal the movie, but I'm gonna straight up say it's not a good movie. So I live in kind of a get off topic here. I
We
live in a
always get off topic.
yeah, I live in a relatively large area in Canada, but not a well-known area in Canada. And this was right when I graduated high school, and I found there was going to be a movie filming in my city, and they're going to be using my high school. And dang it, I forget his name. Machete guy, Mexican, Cisco's dad in the Flash. No, Cisco's love interest dad in the Flash.
Danny Trejo.
Yeah, Danny Trejo was filming a movie in my city of Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And I was like, oh my God, I could meet Danny Trejo. And I did, because I went over and they had to do like auditions kind of for extras. And all I had to
I
do
thought
was,
extras just stand in the back.
yeah. So I was like, all right. So they're just like, all right. So just say like, hey, what you get for lunch today? And that was like my only line or something like that. And so I said that in front of like this person. She's like, okay, yeah. So come on Tuesday. And I'm like, all right. So I got to play.
Hey, what'd you get for lunch today, huh?
Yeah, exactly. So I played a student in the background. I didn't have any lines in the actual movie, but they thought that since I was tall, I could do some other roles too. So there was a football scene happening that night, and I was invited to be a football player as well. I don't play football, but I got to wear a uniform and stand around for like 5 hours in the middle of the night. And
Oh.
yeah, it was basically a lot of standing, and then it was like, all right, go stand over there in action. Okay, you're good. Come back. And there was one point where there was like a school ceremony or something, and I had to go to the school at 7 a.m. to get ready, and then they didn't shoot it until 5 p.m. but I had to stay at the school, so that sucked. But yeah, not worth it. But during that, it was actually the credits showed like it's one of those typical family movies where the credit shows everyone dancing. So I danced next to Danny Trejo. Yeah, he had a
Yeah.
coffee mug that was empty, and he was acting like he was sipping it. And I was like, oh, okay. As I danced next to him, and he went, "Good one, kid." And I was like, "Cool, thanks." But anyways, the movie, not very good. Do not recommend it. Don't look it up. But it's called #Roxy. It is, I think, a remake of a movie called Roxanne. But #Roxy.
Like the actual hashtag or spelled
Like the
out
actual,
hashtag?
I'm pretty sure it's the actual hashtag than Roxy. The main character was, I think Jake Little was his name. He had a big nose. One of the guys in it played, I think, Nighthawk. I could be wrong. In
Holy crap, this has terrible reviews. It's a
Yeah,
1.6 out of 5 on Letterboxd. Every single
yeah,
one's in the half-star range.
yeah. So I've never actually seen it. too. I've never seen it. So I don't know what scenes I'm in or what scenes I'm not in, but I've never seen the movie. But I was an extra in it, and it came out
It's
and
on Prime in America. Oh, time to
oh
go watch it.
no, don't do it.
Yeah, it's on Prime Video. Roxy, #Roxy 2018 movie featuring comic book hunter as a football player and a student in the background and a dancer.
Yeah, I'm in the background during the outdoor scene. I know because my friend saw it and he didn't know I was in it, and he was like sending me pictures in the theater, like, what the hell, man? So don't recommend watching it, but if you do, send me a DM.
The first review I read said, "I can't believe I sat through this whole movie."
Yeah.
I'm,
So
I listen. I hate bad movies, but I might have to watch it
I
just to.
mean, send me a picture if put me on your story if anything, because I don't actually know what scenes I'm in.
I
But
might.
uh anyways, you should go to Spider-Man 3's extras and maybe you have a similar
That's
story.
how the conversation started. Yes. Yeah.
Maybe you have a similar story.
Someone sent me a thing about that. I'm gonna have to. I'll tell Eunice. Let's go ride down to the city. Let's go be extras in Spider Man.
That'd be awesome if you're in the background. I know Eunice has a friend. Eunice is Real World Flash on Instagram for those who don't know, who was an extra in Spider-Man Far From Home. Like I think he auditioned or something, and he's in the scene where Spider-Man finds out that his identity is revealed.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, he was in the background, but they didn't have any. Obviously, they didn't play something on a screen or anything, so he didn't know what was going on. Just Spider-Man standing on the lamppost with wires to him, being like, "Oh no!" So
Now,
yeah.
what was interesting about what the guy sent me is it said extras for like a riot or a protest scene. So I wonder if there's going to be protest
Mm,
about Spider-Man's identity being revealed or something outside the courthouse or
mm.
something.
With a little Matt Murdock involved.
In your dreams.
Yeah. Interesting. That's very interesting. You should actually like if you're free, you should actually try to go
I
because
gotta
that would
find
be
that. I gotta
incredible.
find that DM because that got sent to me a few days ago, and I was like, I kind of just read it. I was like, oh, that's cool. And I was like, wait, that's actually cool. Oh yeah, here it is.
You should
Uh,
actually try. Like
uh,
seriously.
yeah, probably be an extra. Yeah, the Marvel is looking for extras to play protesters and reporters.
If you apply and don't get in, you better start posting like hashtag boycott Spider-Man 3 or something. Because you were
How dare they not cast me?
yeah, you have to try. That'd be so cool. You have to.
It would be cool. I won't lie about that. It would be
You
cool.
have, if I were you, I'd totally do it. You have the opportunity. Anyway,
I'll take a chance. Did I tell you? I'm gonna go on another sidetrack.
yeah.
My roommate in college was on the set of Spider-Man 3,
Oh, what?
and
Like Tobey Maguire? Oh,
yeah, Tobey Maguire
well, what
Spider-Man 3.
else? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not
let's
Amazing
see.
Spider-Man 3. Boom, roasted.
Yeah.
Uh yeah, he was on my roommate in college was on the set of Spider-Man 3. His dad knew someone who ended up getting him on the set. Now, my roommate's my age, so in 2007 we were like 7 or 8. So he doesn't remember much of it, but he said it was at the scene where Mary Jane dumps Peter on the bridge.
Oh, whoa! There's like barely any extras in that.
He,
Because it's
he
a.
wasn't he wasn't he wasn't an extra. He was just like on the set, like
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, there's
he
not a lot of people that walk
yeah,
past
like
them.
he watched it get filmed, I guess. And
Okay.
he told me that so he was a little kid, so he didn't really get it yet. He said that to, he sees Tobey Maguire's stunt double and he's like, "Oh my god, it's Tobey Maguire!" And he thinks it's him, and he's like running up to him. And he said there was like a whole like swarm of press around Tobey Maguire. So he's like, "Wow, why are those people on this guy? Toby's over here." And then all these years later, he realized, "Oh, that was not Tobey Maguire. That was Tobey Maguire's
Toby
stunt double."
was
So
surrounded by press going like, "Get back away! I can't see."
there's cars here. Yeah, great video. But yeah, so yeah, maybe I'll
Cool
apply to
story.
be a
Yeah, you
protester.
have to. You have to give us an update next week on Hero Story if you have her yet
I'll
or
give you
not.
guys the update.
Next in the week, we got a first look at the new Batwoman, Javicia Leslie. I'm gonna say is her name. The actress's name. Suit is a little bit different, but very much looking the same as
The
Ruby.
belt is the main difference.
Yeah, Ruby Rose's suit. Um, looks. I mean, she no wig. It's her natural hair coming out, I believe. So cool. I mean,
It's another one where I'm like, don't watch stuff, don't really care. Like it's cool, it's fine, it's whatever. People like
yeah,
that, they like that. It's just not for me.
yeah, like looks cool, but I mean, I don't think I'll watch it. But good suit. I mean, I hate. Okay, real quick rant. Ruby Rose when she was Batwoman, every time a picture was shown, a lot of comments were just hating on the suit. The suit looks
On the
fine. Like,
suit,
yeah, on the suit. People were just like, "Oh man, that looks awful." You could tell CW is on a budget with that suit. Like, what else would you do? Because it's pretty accurate to her comic suit, I find. I mean, it's
yeah,
simplistic. It's black, it's red. You got the cowl, the hair. What else would you add? So this is the
yeah.
same idea. I mean, it's a similar suit. Cool. Anyways, I guess we already mentioned Deadpool's rumored to be in Spider-Man 3. Take that rumor with less than a grain of salt. I highly doubt it's real, but a lot of people seem to be talking about it, so I don't think it's going to happen. Deathstroke is going to be in the Snyder Cut, as we all know, but additional scenes are currently being filled. Joe Manganiello posted on his Instagram a photo of him with bleached hair, assuming that means they're about to dye blonde, like white.
Silver.
Yeah, like Slade Wilson. So he has a mohawk, though. He didn't have a mohawk in the theatrical release, which I'm pretty sure that end credit scene was filmed by Zack Snyder, not Joss Whedon. So maybe they're just changing up his look for whatever reason. But yeah, looking forward to it. And the last bit of news is comic book news. Joshua Williamson tweeted out Wednesday, or I guess Thursday, a death metal image of a tie-in called Death Metal: The Last Stories of the DC Universe #1, and it's like a splash page that features every Titan ever, like every Teen Titan or Titan ever, almost.
Pretty much, minus Wally West, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Roy
Actually, our
Harper.
buddy Daz, Comic Legacies, is doing a breakdown post of it where he's trying to name every character on there. So you have to keep an eye out for that. But yeah, no, it's a cool image. See, I was scouring it for Wally West in the hopes that I saw Kyle Rayner on there, and I'm like, is this the first time they'll actually share a page? I was saddened to find out, no, they will not share a page.
Nope. He's too busy being part of the main plot, I guess, which is kind of cool. What would you rather? Wally just be in this one tie-in, or Wally be a part of the main plot of Death Metal?
I still think he could appear in this tie-in because I think that, there's characters in the background who, if you zoom all the way in the back, like they're silhouettes.
Yeah, one's
So,
probably Damien.
yeah, one's probably Damien, but I think there's other people will be in it, and yeah, I don't know. I think Wally could definitely appear in that if it's all Titans. So yeah, no, I'm actually excited for that tie-in. That actually seems really cool. I don't know how it's going to fit in with the story, but a lot of the characters I like are in there, so I'm here for it.
I doubt it will even affect the story. It'll just be the Titans being like, "Hey, what are we? Some kind of Teen Titans or something?"
God.
I don't think it'll affect like.
Y'all jokers must be crazy.
Yeah, I don't think it'll actually affect the main plot of Death Metal. I think it's just going to be a really cool Titans book. So yeah, looking forward to it. This is out in December. Not sure the exact date, but December. December's gonna be huge for comics with this and Endless Winter and Daredevil #25. Looking forward to it.
Big month.
And that's it for the comics of the week. So now for the news of the week. Now we're on to the comics of the week. So for those of you just joining us, we are currently at about 27 minutes and 30 seconds, and time to talk about Three Jokers. I have no idea what you think of this book.
And I have no idea what you think of this post.
A lot of mixed reactions.
I had to avoid DMs and I had to avoid posts because I did not get my comics until today, the day we were recording, Thursday. So between my work schedule and my class schedule, I'm usually not able to pick up my comics when I like to because my shop doesn't open until 3 p.m., which is a little rough. Not the biggest fan of that policy, but what are you gonna do? So for the last few weeks, I've had like my sister pick up my comics or my dad pick up my comics, like whoever's around. I'm like, hey, you mind going to the shop for me? This week I actually did go get my comics, but I got them on Thursday because I was working on Wednesday, but I was off Thursday, which is cool. My shop had a big problem with DC Comics. They didn't get a lot of their comics. The only ones that they got physicals of this week were Red Hood and Flash. I had a lot more comics than that ordered. So
three Jokers and Flash.
Yeah, Three Jokers and Flash were the only ones they had.
Oh, no, yeah, Red Hood, because Red Hood also came out this week.
Yeah, they didn't have a lot of DC comics, but the guy that works in the comic shop told me that the last 2 weeks have been hell with DC Comics, but DC is getting a new distributor. So
are they actually? Oh, thank God.
he said DC is getting a new distributor, and that things should be getting a lot better with shipping.
Because it sucked even here in Canada.
They're not going back to Diamond, but they are getting a new distributor. So who knows what that means?
God, because this current distributor, I've had weeks where I go to my comic store, and my comic store owner's just like, "Hey, here's a new Captain America." I'm like, "Oh, cool. Where's like all the other DC comics?" He's like, "Oh, we didn't get DC shipment yet." I'm like, great, that's cool, man. Well, I only read every DC book ever. So.
Yeah, they've been delayed on a lot of stuff. So hopefully, I mean, my comic shop guys seem to think that the new distributor was going to be very good. So we'll see.
Hopefully.
But anyway, so I got Three Jokers this week. I got the Red Hood cover. I decided on the Red Hood cover, which is very nice. Jason Fabok. I cover of the week obviously is.
Oh yeah, pick of the week, cover of the week, I guess. I'll do my cover of the week. Yeah, they sold out of the Red Hood one. I had to go after I was off shift. I got just the regular cover. I thought it looked, because I have all the regular covers. I have a lot of covers for Three Jokers. I just thought this would look good next to them all. But I'm hunting for that Red Hood cover. So my cover of the week is Three Jokers. Pick of the week. Oh, what's yours?
I mean, I guess the easy answer is Three Jokers, but
Yeah, I might say Three Jokers too. Honorable mention to Spider-Man: The Last Ronin, but we'll get into them. So I guess Three Jokers.
yeah. So Three Jokers. What'd you think, buddy?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that. I liked it. I understand the hate though.
Yeah, well, so I missed a lot of the hate because I was on a social media embargo because I didn't want to get spoiled. Though I did end up getting spoiled, unfortunately, over a DM.
Oh,
But
it's
not the biggest deal. Whatever, it happens. It's not like I was like heartbroken, so it was whatever. Like I was just like, oh okay. But anyway, yeah. So the Three Jokers ending. I don't know. I kind of got the feeling that like going into this issue that there was still a lot that I felt like could have been resolved and could have been told from this story. And at the end, I kind of feel left like satisfied in a way, but also kind of like felt like we could have gotten more. Does that make
yeah.
sense? It's kind of the feeling I got at the end of Doomsday Clock. Remember when we were talking about Doomsday Clock? Like we were on the second to last issue, and I'm like, I feel like there's still like 8 stories you could tell from this.
What was the message Batman sent to them when they were on Mars?
Alfred is dead. LOL.
Yeah, we'll never know. Yeah, I kind of understand that. I feel like this story could have been more than 3 issues, even though they were oversized issues. And I understand, like, it's nice, it's simplistic, it's 3 Jokers, 3 books. I don't know. The main takeaway of this is the ending, but maybe we'll get to that in a second. First off, in general, the book itself, it is very much just the finale. You know, Batman, Batgirl, and Red Hood go to the Monarch Theater again. I feel like we just read this in Joker War. And they go, and Joker has a plan set up to make Joe Chill the new Joker. We do kind of find out that the 3 Jokers, they weren't all born. It was one Joker created these other two by putting them same origin as his, like putting the acid and having their hair turn green, their skin turn white, and them to go crazy. So it's the same idea with that, except these ones are more, have a better mind than the others. It seems the original is, I guess they all have code names. The original is the comedian. So it's the criminal, clown, comedian. Clown died in issue 1. Criminal seems to be the mastermind behind this, but it seems the original is the comedian. So yeah. They kind of go over how the criminal is very classic, and Jason Fabro did really cool pages of like flashbacks to them. Like Dick Grayson and Robin taking out this very classic low like 40s villain. Meanwhile, the clown, he's more of a prankster. He likes to put on a show. He likes to be in front of a crowd. And while the comedian, that's New 52 Joker. I'm glad we got that confirmed, because New 52 Joker was the crazy one who cut off his face, and like his whole face was burning at one point, and he threw cards into Batman's eyes, and he cut off Alfred's hand and stuff like that. Rest in peace, that continuity.
I was about to
But
say, did that ever end up getting followed?
it did. In Batman Super Heavy, I want to say it might have been All-Star Batman. Uh, Basically Alfred got like a mechanical hand, but it had like a flesh tone to it, so it looked real, but it is technically robotic. So I mean, it's just so then writers don't have to deal with it, I guess.
Yeah.
But technically Alfred's, I think his left hand is robotic.
Well, Alfred's dead now.
Yeah,
so.
I was about to say technically Alfred's also dead, but you get the idea.
Yeah, I don't know. Three Jokers. I'm kind of whelmed by it. I went into this story thinking like this could be, and we talked about this on the podcast. I think this could be the biggest Bat story since Killing Joke, like impact wise. I thought that this could be a defining story for Jason. It could be a defining story for Barbara. Ultimately, I don't think it achieved that. Maybe I had too high of standards set in my head for it, but
I would say it's a pretty big story for Jason. That's coming from someone who's read every Red Hood story since 2000.
I mean,
I want to say I think I've read every Red Hood story actually. I might have read every single Red Hood. Yeah, Pain. I don't enjoy it, but I think I've read it all. Huh. So I think this is the biggest Jason story since Battle for the Cowl, if not Under the Red Hood. So I think it's good for him, but the rest of
don't
the
get me wrong.
characters...
Like I think it's big it's a big story, but ultimately, I thought this was going to be like the defining story. Now,
Oh yeah. Mhm.
maybe it's because it's only had 3 issues, which I know is technically like 6 issues by size, but it felt very short.
It did. Yeah. Yeah, I don't really know how I fully feel about it yet, I guess, but I guess the main takeaway is the ending. Batman forgiving Joe Chill, Manicaro's parents, and the death of Joe Chill. Huh.
I've always kind of wanted a writer to deal with the whole Joe Chill stuff because I think it's brought up a lot, but I feel like it's never really given like a satisfying ending.
Would you consider this a satisfying ending?
Yeah, good. I think it's what Batman was always going to do: forgive him and let him rest, which is
Basically,
because
yeah.
that's what heroes do.
Yeah. I it was my favorite page of the whole book. It's just a silent scene of Bruce Wayne, not in the cowl and cape, just visiting Joe Chill as he's on his deathbed and holding Joe's hand as he slowly dies in bed, and then visiting Joe Chill at his grave. That's interesting to me. Like that guy killed your parents. That guy created Batman, and you forgive him. Huh.
Yeah,
It
no,
kind
it's
of
it,
made
it
yeah.
it was definitely like a good, powerful scene. It's kind of what I expected too. Like once Joe Chill was, we knew he was kind of dying. I was like, all right, I think Batman's gonna forgive him. So that was pretty good. Joker, the real Joker, knows the identity of all of them, but he doesn't care.
Yeah, that
It's
was
kind
kind of
of like,
explained in New 52.
yeah, well, that's been the status quo for a while, I think, and I think even before that, like you could always make the argument that Joker knows who they are, but and he even spells it out in this. Like that's not the point of the game. The point of the game
Mhm.
is,
He doesn't care at all.
yeah, I caused the bad pain.
Yeah,
So
I remember in Death of the Family, Joker he's on the bridge and he's dancing and he's saying how he knows who everyone is and he's like, "Oh, I've been under your beds, I've been in your cave. I know why I know what shampoo you use, Nightwing. I know why you smell so good." And he says lines like that. So yeah, he kind of always knew that.
yeah, uh, but yeah, what do you think of the very ending though, with the Killing Joke
Okay, yeah.
retcon?
So
It is a Killing Joke retcon.
is it? It's more so just confirming that that's canon, wasn't it?
No, but I'm saying it's a Killing Joke retcon in the sense that she's not dead,
Oh yeah,
because
because in Killing
in
Joke,
Killing Joke she's dead.
his wife is
I'm sure Alan Moore hates this.
Yeah, well, Alan Moore hates everything. So,
True. Well, actually,
uh,
Alan Moore actually hates Killing Joke. He says he regrets telling that story and it shouldn't be as big a story as it is.
actually,
Yeah, you could read all
weird.
about it. He actually does not like the Killing Joke at all.
Oh, weird. So he probably doesn't care. Well, he does definitely cares a lot, but not as much as if you like the story. But yeah, it's basically in that origin story, Joker's wife is pregnant and she dies. Where in this one, the police helped her escape and she moved to Alaska and is raising his son there to be like a regular boy. Very The Boys season 2. But
Yeah,
yeah, just like hiding from the Joker because if the Joker knows that they exist, the press will find them, the Joker will find them, and they'll be screwed. And it seems like they're being just kept watched by Bruce Wayne every so often, which is kind of nice. I kind of like that. The sun looks like 13 though. Does that mean Batman is no? Hold on. So that would mean Batman's age, since War Jokes and Riddles is a year two Batman story. Batman would be 39 years old if he became Batman 25, and then year two is War Jokes and Riddles, and his son looks about 13. Sorry, math. 39 would be
not
Batman.
not not only are we doing great with the English on this episode, we're also doing great with the math.
Yeah, sorry. Let me get my calculator out. Yeah, I'm kind of okay with the ending. I know the only thing I'm not that okay with is Batman saying that he knows his name. Batman knows
Yeah, that
Joker's
was
name.
that was
That's stupid.
stupid. It's stupid.
Yeah. He's like, oh yeah, I know Joker's name. And I learned it after 1 week after we first met. The only reason I'm not saying is that is because no one has to know. It's not important. Why did you ask the Mobius chair what Joker's name is, Bruce? You're
That's a
retconning the
good point. I didn't
story at
even
the
think of
start
that.
of the story. Yeah. Oh God, I hate that. I don't like it at all.
Do you get the feeling from this story at all that like things changed, like in the sense that we thought Doomsday Clock stuff changed as well because of continuity?
Jason Fabo posted on his Instagram today that things did change.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
he
that's,
said
that's the
from when it was first written, a lot of changes remained throughout it.
Yeah, like that's the feeling I got by the end of Three Jokers, is that like it feels like a changed story,
Hmm. This
but
wasn't the original story that they planned on. They might have changed things around. Maybe Joe Chill wasn't a big aspect. Maybe there was no romance between Batgirl and Red Hood.
that's
By the
that I
way,
want that cut.
yeah, that
I
letter,
hated that.
the letter,
Uh yeah, the letter, I hated that
that
so
was
much.
weird. It was like a really well written letter that was kind of like, oh, this is cute, but why these two?
Because well, but because remember what we said, that the Batgirl joke, Batgirl Jason kiss is fine in the standard of whatever, it didn't mean anything, it was an accidental kiss, but now it's like Jason actually has like deep feelings for Barbara, like terrible.
Yeah, he's saying like, I love you, Barbara. If you don't, that's
Here's
okay.
the letter. I'll read it aloud to you.
Okay,
Dear Barbara,
give me
I
your
want to
Red
make a
Hood voice.
change, but I dear Barbara. No, I
Please,
don't know why I
please.
made him sound like a Chevy commercial.
That was good.
Chevy, hits the
Yeah.
road. Um, Dear Barbara, I want to make a change, but I can't do that without you. I know I've come across cold and distant, but I know you know why. I've always admired you, Barbara, your strength, your determination, your heart. You think that you think what happened was a mistake, that it was a moment, but I think we could be great together. I really do. I'll give up being Red Hood for us. I can do something. I can be something else, or I can just be Jason. All I need is one chance to prove to you I can be better, and I will devote my life to making you proud, happy, loved. If you don't think I'm worth one chance, if it was all just you caught up in everything, then throw this letter away. I'll never mention it. I even understand. Whatever happens, I love you. Yours, Jason. I hate that so much. I absolutely
Well, it's
despise
okay
that.
because it looks like it's not gonna happen.
I
See,
still, it
Jason
shouldn't
was
even exist.
Jason was a dummy, and he taped it to Barbara's door with terrible Scotch tape, and the tape like just peeled, and the letter fell off, and the janitor put that away. And fun fact, if that janitor, well, not fun fact, if that janitor reads the letter, he will straight up say like, "Oh God, Red Hood is a guy named Jason who knows this Barbara girl. Jason's killed so many people, or Red Hood's killed so many people. I could report this to police right now." Fingerprint scan. The end. Why didn't Jason put this under the door? Or shoot a text? I understand that would mean like she'd receive it, but
Why did I hate so much about this? Why does he love Barbara?
yeah, it's
Imagine,
very
imagine
random.
your brother telling your ex-girlfriend that he's in love with her, and that he will change his whole life for her.
Yeah.
It's so weird. And the whole like I get that, I think if anything this story signifies, and I don't know what happened in Red Hood 50, but if this story kind of signifies that Jason might not end up being Red Hood forever, I'm fine with that, right? I think that's okay. I think there's a story to be told there.
Mhm.
But to settle down with Barbara?
Yeah, they even
What?
kind of talked about at the beginning, like where Bruce was like, "I'll help you find a new identity," and he said no. Oh, speaking of, I forgot all about this until now. I read this a while ago, like when it first came out. Batgirl calling Gordon dad.
Yeah.
And then what? That's it. We're just gonna flip the page and not see what happens.
Yeah. He didn't even Gordon didn't even have a reaction. I don't know if that's something that happened in the last Batgirl issue. I mean, I've
Maybe.
always kind of been under the assumption that Jim knows, but he doesn't say anything.
Yeah, I kind of have two, and I feel like Barbara knows that he knows now too.
But I don't know.
Oh
That was
God,
yeah.
my daughter was paralyzed, and now Batgirl's gone, and now my daughter can run again, and Batgirl's back. So yeah,
Huh. I didn't go from detective to commissioner without figuring this one out.
yeah, exactly. Gordon's not dumb, but it's
I've
interesting.
always been kind of in the field of thinking that Gordon knows all their identities, but he plays dumb.
Oh, I don't think he knows Bruce's.
Oh, I think he does.
Oh, interesting. Huh. I don't know. I feel
Because
that he did.
if he sees Nightwing and Batgirl running around, then he knows it's Dick Grayson. Come on now, like
Yeah,
Nightwing and Batgirl meet you on the roof of the GCPD, and then at dinner the next night you see Dick Grayson and Barbara Gordon. Come on
yeah,
now,
and that they're not covering their faces that well,
it's yeah, it's the
especially
Domino
Dick.
mask.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean that makes sense. So, huh.
They
Oh,
even alluded to it in Batman Year One, where in or sorry, not Batman Year One, and was it it was either Robin Year One or Nightwing Year One, where Dick Grayson meets Barbara Gordon for the first time. I think it's Robin Year One, and Gordon's like, "Stay the hell away from my daughter." But
yeah, yeah, I remember that.
but yeah, so I don't know. This it didn't leave me that satisfied. There was a lot of things I had problems with, and it didn't really feel like it was neatly wrapped up with the bow, you know?
Yeah, I mean, Batman's fighting Joker, and it's like, man, there's like 4 pages left. What's gonna happen here? All in all, I enjoyed the comic. I enjoyed the story in general. I could see myself rereading this. The art is beautiful. Every single page, the art is fantastic. So for the art alone, it's worth it. Story wise, I feel like as a story, it'll
I
be
just
kind of
I,
forgotten.
I just think that, and this is something we talked about. Jeff has set a very high bar for himself,
Yeah.
right? We expect a lot out of Jeff Johns. We expect, masterpieces out of Jeff Johns.
Mhm.
I don't think Three Jokers is going to go down on very high on his resume. When you talk about the best Jeff stories, I don't think it appears on there.
Yeah, look at his Flash run, Screen Lantern run, Justice
Now,
League run, Aquaman, but not this.
in the tease from Dark Side War to DC Universe 1, or sorry, DC Rebirth 1, I think there was always a big buildup of Three Jokers, and it taking 4 years to come out, definitely
That
made the
sucked.
but the stage was set for a big story. So I just felt like it didn't really deliver on that. I don't think it's bad by any circumstance, but I just think like it ended up being kind of like okay. But like
Mhm.
you said, I think it's ultimately going to be forgettable, which a book like this shouldn't have been forgettable.
Yeah, the art, like I said, like the art's the best part. So I think it's good for Jason Fabok. And Jason Fabok, the artist, straight up said like he could retire from DC after this. Like he's really proud of his work here. Even some people may not like it. He thinks that personally he's really proud of what he did on this book, and he could retire happy. He's not retiring. He said if fans want him to do more Batman, he will do more Batman, which we do. But it seems that he's really proud of this work.
Now what's the crazy realization I had after finishing this issue?
Hmm.
Jeff Johns does not have anything currently going with DC Comics right now.
Oh yeah, because he's off
No more
Shazam,
Shazam and no more Three Jokers.
and
So
nothing coming up that we know of.
now, when we talked to Scott Collins a few months ago, he said that him and Jeff were working on something, a pitch or something, but that never amounted to anything. So I wonder if the pitch ended up getting turned down or something.
Yeah, because that was a long time ago.
But yeah, so I don't know. That was Jeff. I remember I talked about this in the group chat a while ago that I feel like Jeff is kind of done with comics.
Yeah, he's focusing on
I mean,
making
apparently Batman
shows
Earth
and
1 Volume
movies.
3 has been happening for like the last, like, what, 5 years now?
Yeah, apparently it's done, but like, why haven't we seen any preview whatsoever? Like, usually when artists are working on stuff, even Gary Frank alone, when he was making Doomsday Clock, he was posting art, and now
Yeah,
he's straight up saying like, "Yeah, Batman Earth One Volume 3 is done." Why haven't we seen a single thing from it? And
bizarre.
Batman Earth One's my favorite Batman comic ever, so I'd love to see it, but it feels like it's not happening.
I mean, I told you I have the theory that with the Ray Fisher stuff, I think Jeff is going to have a distant relationship with DC Comics for at least the short term, which makes me
Mhm.
sad. But yeah, I don't know.
I'd love to
This
see him
is
return.
listen, we'll have to see on all this.
Yeah, well, I think he writes a really good Superman. I'd love to see him write like another Superman story, or maybe another Wally
I mean,
story.
but I mean, if you think about it, he's kind of like told his stories on all the characters that he needed to, right? Like he wrote the definitive Green Lantern run, he wrote the definitive Aquaman run, he wrote a great Flash run, he wrote a great Superman run,
Justice League.
He did his Batman Earth one, he did a great Justice League run. He's kind of done it all. He's done the big events with Blackest Night and all
Kind
that.
of did Shazam, I guess.
Kind of did Shazam. Like it feels like he's kind of run the gauntlet at this point. Like, could Jeff theoretically just be done? It's possible.
Yeah, I guess it is, but I feel
Focus
like
on
he would.
TV, focus on movie. I mean, it's
I
possible.
feel like he would advertise like, "Hey, Batman Three Jokers is my last."
Jeff's last story, yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like we
I don't
one day
know.
we will get that Jeff's last story. I think he'll take a break. I don't see Jeff
I
Johns
mean,
returning for a bit.
like, what character do you want to see him on next? Like, I feel like he's done it all.
I wouldn't mind an actual good cyborg story. There isn't really any solo cyborg stories that are good. I feel like Jeff writes a good cyborg, so that'll be good. Maybe Martian Manhunter. Yeah, Wonder Woman. I guess he hasn't really written Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I just like I said, I feel like he's kind of done it all, and he's kind of just like I think he realizes he's done it all. Like Three Jokers, I think is his last Batman story ever. I don't think he'll ever write
Well,
another.
he said that he didn't want to write a Batman story, but then he thought of Three Jokers,
Yeah, so
but he did not want to do
So I think
Batman.
he's certainly done with that. It's just this might be the end of Jeff for a little bit. I'm sad. He's my favorite comic book writer of all time. So
Mine too. And just because
um
Batman Three Jokers wasn't as what we expected, I still enjoyed the story. So I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. I wanted it to be 10.
on the overall story,
Overall story, I'm giving 8. This issue, I'll give a 7. But overall
yeah,
story, 8.
I'm in the same boat. I think I think the first issue was really great of Three Jokers. I think issue 2 was good, and this one was kind of okay.
I would say, yeah, that's a good way of saying it. Issue
Great,
1 was
good,
the
okay.
best. Yeah.
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 Yeah, Three Jokers. Wow. This is yeah, the main thing I'm looking forward to now with Three Jokers is sending in my copy to get graded and signed.
Yeah,
I'm
I'll be
really
sending in
hyped for
issue
that.
1. Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
gonna send in the Batman cover. I gotta figure out how to do that. To the CGC people listening, teach me the ways because I don't know anything about CGC grading. I know the very basics, so but I've never done a
Yeah,
signature
look
series
up
before,
videos
obviously.
online. You could, it's not that hard. It is
But
actually pretty complicated.
it feels like it should be easier. But
Yeah.
anyway, that's Three Jokers. Which book do you want to talk about next?
How about I go briefly over Red Hood? Just
Go
because
ahead.
also this is Scott Lobdell's final Red Hood issue. He's been writing Red Hood since 2011. Somehow no other writers came on the book, but he was the only one writing Jason Todd's story. This is the last issue. It was all right. Right off the bat, I open it, I'm like, all right, what are we gonna get? And it's like, all right, Scott Lobdell is writing. He's not the greatest at wrapping up stories. So first few pages is dealing with Year of the Villain. um, that arc from 2019. So it's still going on. He's also dealing with Joker's daughter from Batman Robbing Eternal. Yeah, not actual Joker's daughter, just the girl that thought she was. The whole book was just like, this is okay. Not much to say about it until the end. The end was very bittersweet. It was basically Jason basically cures Joker's daughter, like makes her not as crazy as anymore. She's like, I'm gonna be a regular person. It's gonna be all good. And he's like, okay, cool. Then him and Artemis, who he's kind of has a thing with throughout the past 4 years, they go on motorbikes and they start to drive away, and they stop, and uh, Artemis basically says, "This is the end of being. This is the end of us," kind of thing. I'm gonna go my path. You're gonna go your path, and that's okay. She had a good quote at one point. I'll see if I can find it. Maybe not. She basically said like, never mind, I can't find it at all. She basically said, oh, like he was like he wasn't the best sidekick, he wasn't the best villain, but he was a great outlaw, and he could be a great person now because the whole book is Red Hood and the Outlaws, and he doesn't need the outlaws anymore. Like you be your own man and do your own path. And he's like, yeah, you know what? You're right. I think I can. It has a very like they both drive in different directions at the end, and she's driving who knows where, but Jason's driving and he sees a sign saying Gotham City, turn left, and he's turning left. So yeah, it was kind of like a bittersweet ending, but all in all, Red and the Outlaws from in general from New 52 2011 to today, I highly recommend Rebirth issues 1 to 24, and that's about it.
Uh, I mean, obviously, I don't read the book, but I feel like this is one of those books that feels like it just needed to get put down for a
Yep.
while, and
Big
they've
time.
kind of been like it's like the dog that he's all reliable. You don't want to do it, but eventually, like, got to take care of business here. And Red Hood need a tent. It's a bad analogy, but
I guess.
it's a tough analogy.
Just old Yeller.
Old Yeller. Sorry, Old Yeller. Yeah, I don't know. It seemed like it was going on way too long. I mean, that's a long time to be on a book from 2011 to 2020. That's a long, long time.
Yeah, and now Lovedale isn't on any books at the moment. I don't think he's
And
on
I think
anything
he's
coming
another
out.
one who may be done with DC Comics.
I mean, there was quite a few allegations towards him too. So, and a
I
lot of
mean,
people didn't want him.
and really, like, outside of New 52, what other books has he been doing? Right? He did Red
Flash
Hood.
forward.
He had he had Flash Forward. He had a very short stint. I think it was only one arc on Nightwing. So
Mm-hmm.
he's not really been doing that many books.
He
So I
did
think
Teen Titans for a little bit in New 52, which wasn't that good. Did he do Superman?
Superman,
Yeah.
Superboy. He did a bunch of titles in New 52, but yeah, his titles have kind of drawn back. I don't know. I think he might be done with DC Comics.
Mm-hmm. I think they have a filler writer. I can't remember who it is for the next few issues. And then Josh Williamson is taking over for DC Super State, Super Slate,
Fu-
new
fu-
Slate, Future State. Yeah, that, which I'm looking forward to. But yeah, all in all, Red Hood Outlaw, it just dragged. It dragged so much of how like Year of the Villain was 2 years of the villain for Lobdell here on Red Hood and the Outlaw, and like Batman Robin Eternal had a little wrap up issue where it was like, oh man, Jason's gonna like be like Joker's daughter. She deserves to like be a regular person. That went on for like 4 years. You know, the change only happened today in today's issue after 4 years. So it's like it's just so every issue felt filler. Nothing. It did nothing for Jason Todd as a character except for those first 24 issues of Rebirth, which were fantastic. But that was it. Even New 52, where he's with Roy and Starfire, it was a cool friendship, but a
New
lot of
52, they
outer.
they tried to make him Dick Grayson. I mean, they really did. They gave him
Yeah,
Roy, they gave him Starfire.
and he was quipping and he was
Yeah, they
smiling.
tried to make him Dick Grayson, and
Yeah,
in my opinion, failed.
it big time failed. And then there was Red Hood and Arsenal, which he also wrote, which was very much just like it felt like a buddy cop movie, but it was just comedy all around and really weird characters that didn't make sense for the plot. And it's like, what is the point of this, man? It didn't feel like the book was going anywhere except for those first 24 issues. So the first trade is available, Red Hood Outlaw Rebirth. I highly recommend that. And I think the second trade also is really good. Besides that, if you're a Red Hood fan, I don't recommend these stories at all. If you really want to read good Red Hood stories, Buffer the Cowl is good, obviously Under the Red Hood, and Three Jokers. But Jason Todd does not have the best comics out there.
I mean, he's got like the Judd Winnick stuff, like the Red Hood
Mhm.
Lost Days and all that. But yeah, it's
He's a cool idea for a character, but if you want to get really like if you want to get into Captain America, people be like, oh, read the Ed Brubaker run. Oh, I want to get into Daredevil, read Bendis, read Frank Miller. I want to get into Red Hood. You won't have that big of a list. So he's better in just stories where he's with the Bat family. So hopefully we'll see more of that in the future. All in
best
all,
thing of Red Hood.
I'll rate the issue like a 6, and I'll rate the run like a 5.
Rest in peace, Red Hood.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
To a comic that
How
you've read.
about Flash
Yeah.
764? Not a bad issue.
It's all right.
I think it's one of those things where it's like, Williamson's run ends on this big bang, and then you go into this, and it's just like, oh, okay, this is different.
It's not bad.
Yeah, no, I think it's an interesting story. It's just the time that it takes place is a little odd because I told you like all the family just returned, and we're going into kind of a solo Barry story. I think this writer is definitely Kevin Chittick is definitely into like sciencey type stuff, and he's definitely into like the kind of like geeky type stuff, which
Which
is
is cool.
it is Barry Allen, so
Mhm. I think
it
that's
works for the character. Cool
yeah,
to
he's
see
actually
Doc.
writing good Barry Allen. He's not making him Bart like some writers we know.
Yeah, very cool to see Dr. Alchemy back. I think that Alchemy, didn't appear in Williamson's run, and Williamson mentioned us on the podcast how he wanted to use him, but never got the chance to. So, interesting to see Alchemy in today's issue. Yeah, I don't know. There's really not much to say about Flash. It was kind of just like, a decent issue. Some cool concepts brought in again, and yeah, Iris hinting at wanting a marriage because Barry talks about from last issue, like he had lost his flash ring, and he's like, oh, I'm glad I never want this ring to leave my finger again. And Iris is like, oh yeah, I wish I had a ring that would never leave my finger. And it's like, okay, you want to get married?
What do you want for dinner tonight?
I really thought at the end of Williamson's run they were going to get married. So, if they are to do a wedding of the Flash, I think they should have Williamson write it.
Mhm.
I think
I
he
agree.
writes a very good Iris. But yeah, no, this issue was fine.
It's still kind of fillery. Like
It is. I mean,
typical.
it's not bad filler though. It's an interesting story plot. So
Yeah. Well, I give it like a 7. It was good.
yeah,
Wasn't amazing. Wasn't bad. Just good.
yeah,
You give it a 7?
yeah, right about
Okay.
there. What do you think of Aquaman?
Aquaman I liked a lot.
I know you like that a lot. I liked it a lot too.
I was shocked. For some reason, when Aquaman comes out, I'm like, oh, okay, new Aquaman book. And then I read it, I'm like, wow, this is really good.
Is this Kelly Sue's last issue or no?
Is it? I
Or am
don't
I
think. No, I
wrong?
think 65 might be. I think she has one more. Pretty sure because
Okay,
yeah, she definitely has one more because she wouldn't end halfway through an arc because the ending was
gotcha.
really cool. It's basically still going over Mura's wedding. She was set to marry Volko, but then Orm attacked Ocean Master, and now all the seven seas of the ocean are all attacking, including the trench and uh, all of them. Basically led by Ocean Master and his Game of Thrones kind of resistance team. They're just attacking, and then Arthur kind of taunts him, which makes Ocean Master kind of triggered, and he screams, "Challenge me, coward!" And they have like a rather short duel for the throne, but it ends with Ocean Master kind of cheating by having his people kind of put a blanket over Aquaman and tying him up, and then Ocean Master stabs him. When that first happened, I was like, "Here we go again," because within the past 10
Ah,
years,
shit. Here we
Aquaman's
go again.
died like 7 times or like one in a coma or something. Worked really good in Jeff Jones' run. Not the greatest in other runs, but he dies a lot. So when he was stabbed and then unconscious, I'm like, oh, great, here we go again. It did end with him kind of waking up and Ocean Master getting a cool taunt where he's like, "What are you gonna do about it, Aquaman? Call some fish?" And then you see like the little boo boo boo, like his little calling a fish, and that's where the issue ends. So who is he gonna call? I bet
Ghostbusters.
it won't be a fish. I'm gonna say it's gonna be an actual character. He's gonna call, um, maybe no, I doubt King Shark, but Crab. He could call Crab, who's a giant crab. He talks like a pirate, so I could see that happening, like an actual character instead of just a bunch of like sharks or something. I might be wrong, but that's what I'm calling. Yeah, all in all, I give the issue like an 8 or a 9.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah, it was a pretty enjoyable issue.
Mhm.
Batman Superman. So I thought I dropped Batman Superman, but it was in my pull list. So I was like, oh, okay. I thought I could have sworn I dropped it, but apparently I didn't.
I might drop it. This
I
wasn't that good.
I mean, clearly I plan to. So
Mhm.
I I really don't have that much to say on the issue. It's kind of just like, oh, this is in my pull list. Okay.
It's Steel and Batwoman going to the moon, where Batman and Superman are trapped in a base hidden on the moon, and there's a bunch of robots kind of posing as their villains. So like, there's a robotic Lex Luthor, a robotic Scarecrow, a robotic Joker, and the four of them team up and take him down. It ends with a robotic Batman and Superman, very death metal vibes to this, uh, going to Earth to fight people on Earth while the others are stuck on the moon. Cool to see Batwoman and Steel team up with these two iconic characters. So that was a cool team up. But all in all, I was just kind of bored reading it.
Yeah, that's the same with me. It kind of just felt like a very generic comic,
Mm-hmm. I was like, okay,
which
let's watch some characters. Let's watch some superheroes fight robots. It's like, okay, I'm good.
yeah. Yeah. So this will likely be my last issue.
6 out of 10.
Yeah. You read Justice League?
I didn't, but you can talk about it. I have it. I just haven't read it yet.
Uh, it's another one that I really just kind of found myself skimming through.
Okay.
It's a death metal tie-in, which I was just like, oh, okay. I didn't even realize that it was a
Did
death
you
metal
read the
tie-in.
first two?
I'm sorry.
This is part 3 in the tie-in. Did you read the first two?
I think I might have missed one of them. I don't know. I gotta look back in my box. Justice League's been a mess with me because I had dropped it during the writer switch up when they had
Oh, a new writer like every week.
I read Venditti stuff, but I didn't read the one after that, or I read it, but I did not enjoy it, so I was dropping Simon something. But yeah, I don't know. Justice League was whatever. I just really don't care. Spider-Man though is something that you read, correct?
Fantastic. If you're not reading Spider-Man right now, what are you doing? This is so good. The Amazing Spider-Man number 51. Oh my god, this was really good. Patrick Gleason's on art. We miss you at DC, but thank God you're on Spider-Man because you draw such a cool Spider-Man.
I said that I said a soul for a soul. His Spider-Man art is worth it for losing him at DC.
Yeah, like youtube.com/hero story. Look at that. That's cool. He draws a really good character art. I like how he draws the big eyes. This storyline is basically so the Order of the Web, which are all the spider people, have been possessed by demons. It's explained in a better way than I am right now, but basically this story is Spider-Man's like, oh god, what do we do? So he goes to Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange is like, I try to help you, and then Silk breaks through, Sydney Moon, and she's possessed, and it's very horror movie like her dialogue. It reminded me of Evil Dead, like the 2013 remake. I don't know if you saw it or not.
I did not.
Okay, well, it's basically the taunting is very similar, where it sounds like something that Silk would say in like her darkest moment. It doesn't sound like she's a demon. It sounds like she's just a mean person. So basically she's trying to convince Peter like, hey man, it's gonna be okay. By the way, the real Cindy Moon is suffering in hell right now, but it's okay. The whole storyline, people are gonna hate me for this. I am not the biggest Spider-Man reader in the world, but there is a reference from the classic JMS slash Junior Junior Amazing Spider-Man number 42. It's basically the hand of Vishanti, I want to say. I'm gonna get hate for this, but I don't know what it does. It's a hand that Doctor Strange has, and with it, Spider-Man's used before, and a lot of people online are like, "Oh my God, he brought back the hand of Vishanti." Cool. Basically, Doctor Strange realizes, like, wait, Peter, you might not have the potential to do this. I can't give this to you. Leave the sanction, and kind of kicks him out. And Peter goes like, well, good thing I went to someone else before coming here. And you get a little flashback to him going to someone beforehand, assuming that Doctor Strange will kick him out. And he goes to Black Cat. Patrick Gleason's Black Cat is unbelievably good, by the way. Yeah. And she steals the hand. What happens next, we don't fully know. Peter kind of has a vision where Mary Jane is being killed, and then he wakes up in his own grave, and he starts to crawl through like a little home in the graveyard, and that's where he sees Kindred, Harry Osborn, surrounding himself with more dead bodies, people that he's known. People like Gwen Stacy, Uncle Ben. I think one of them looks like Flash Tom, like Flash. I can't tell who the others are because they're skeletons in the end wearing clothes, but people close to Spider-Man, and he knows that Spider-Man's here now. So to be continued. That being said, I see a checklist here now. Last week there was or 2 weeks ago, there was issue 50 and then issue 50.lr. This week's issue 51, and next week is issue 51.lr. And then we're gonna get like a 53.lr, 52.lr, 54, all the way up to Amazing Spider-Man number 55 in December. I don't know what that means, but
a way to sell more issues without going up in number.
I guess, but why?
So, it's bizarre.
Yeah, anyways, this story is really cool. I give it like a 9. And last comic I'll go over real quick before we get into our history lesson of the week. The Last Ronin, real quick, I won't spoil it too much, but this is basically a Ninja Turtle story, kind of like Earth One or What If 3 out of the 4 Ninja Turtles died, and 1 remained. The art is very similar. It's like inspired by the original Ninja Turtle comics where they all look the same. The only way you could tell them apart is the color of their mask. The Last Ronin is about 1 turtle left. You don't know who that is. He uses all 4 of the turtles' weapons, and he wears a black mask. It's really cool. He wears all black, and the story itself is he's trying to it takes place in the future, so he's not a teen anymore. He's trying to take out the person responsible for his brother's deaths, which seems to be the grandson of Shredder. The art's really neat, the action's really cool, and the last page, I didn't expect this. I kind of expected this reveal to happen at the end. You find out who this final living turtle is. So for those of you that want to read this book, maybe don't listen to what I'm about to say. JD, do you care?
Skip ahead 30 seconds.
Yeah, do you care?
No, I don't care.
Okay, because when I read that, I was shocked. Basically, he tries to kill himself, and then he stops himself because he passes out before he could do it because he's so depressed over this, and he's so beaten up, and he wakes up in like a hidden hospital with April O'Neil, and April says, yes, she's old too. She's like, yes, it's me, and I'm so relieved to see you awake. You really have me worried, miss. You really have me worried there. But who were you just talking to? Michelangelo. Dun dun dun. So it's Mikey. He's the last one.
In my head, I said Mikey.
Yeah, the orange one. He's the last one alive. I'm shocked over that. I didn't expect that at all for some reason.
I've never read a Ninja Turtles comic book, and the only movie I've seen of it is the Michael Bay one.
Oh God, I hate you.
The first one. And literally the only scene I can remember from it, literally the only scene I can remember from it is when they're in the elevator and they start doing the beat with the thing. MC Mikey. That's literally the only scene I can remember. Other than that, I do not remember one scene of the movie.
I grew up with Ninja Turtles. I watched the original cartoon, the 2003 cartoon, the 2014 cartoon. I haven't seen the new one at all. I read some of the old comics, and the Batman Ninja Turtle comics is fantastic. I highly recommend it. So
I gotta read those.
I really like the Ninja Turtles a lot. I watched all the original movies, including the 2007 anime movie. I don't like the Michael Bay ones. So you saw the worst of them.
Okay.
But
Maybe
yeah,
I'll get into them one
this
day.
book is really cool. It's really bloody, which I didn't expect, and it deals with like depression and suicide. Like the last Ronin, I won't say his name anymore, tried to kill himself in this. He laid all his brother's weapons down on all the colored masks, blue, red, orange, and purple, and he's like, "I'm sorry, my brothers. I'll see you soon." And he takes the sword and he goes to like stab himself in the stomach, but he passes out before he could do it because he lost too much blood. But yeah, cool story. I really
That sounds
recommend it.
cool.
Now for our history lesson.
Welcome to the history lesson of the week. Many of you enjoyed our history lesson on both Batman and what was the other one we did?
We did someone else. Yeah. I was just thinking, Batman was not our first one. It wasn't Spider-Man. Was it a newer
Wow,
character?
that's
Weird.
bad. How
We
did
are
we not
terrible
remember?
teachers. How do we both not remember this?
That is bad. Wow.
History. It must have been a big character, right?
I can't even think of what it is. This is a little embarrassing.
Yeah. Well, we did basically for this part of the segment. We're kind of new to it, clearly, and we go over the history of characters, not their origin story, but how they're actually brought up in the real world. So for Batman, we didn't be like, oh, his parents were shot when he was just a kid. We talked about how the two people that created Batman, how they thought of the idea, the tragic story of how the idea was stolen, in a way. Just the inspiration behind creating these characters and thinking of stories, and then going through the history of this character and major impacts of different writers and artists coming to this character and being like, hey, let's do this, let's do this. We're not talking about the story themselves for the most part. Are you listening to us?
I clicked it to see if I could see in the timestamps if I even wrote it in the timestamps. Of course, SoundCloud just does not want to help me, but yeah, that's weird that I can't remember who it is
I
though.
can't either. It wasn't Flash, wasn't Green Lantern, wasn't what the hell? Anyways, this week we're doing Daredevil. And there's a reasoning
Yes.
behind that, which I'll get to soon enough. But I know the history of Daredevil. JD's got some facts that he kind of pulled up before the episode that we could talk about during this. But I guess, well, if you want, you could try to find that, and I could try to do the history, or try to remember, and I'll do the history. So, Daredevil was created in April 1964. He was created by Stan Lee with the artist Bill Everett, and Jack Kirby helped design the character. Stan Lee wanted to create this character because he wanted to make a superhero with a disability, and he chose a disability being blind. He thought, what if I made a blind superhero? This was during the time, so this was in the 64. This was around the time where Stan Lee was doing a lot of minorities and making them superheroes, and he was trying to give everyone someone to look at.
Captain America is the first one we did the history lesson on.
Yeah, that's it. Jeez, why did we forget that? That was fun
That was
too.
That was a lot of fun. Okay, Captain America and Batman and two history lessons we've done.
Yeah.
And now Daredevil's third. Okay, go on.
Okay.
Sorry, that was gonna bother me all night.
Yeah, I can't believe you both forgot there. People were probably listening like, it's Captain America, it's Captain America. Anyways, so yeah, Stan Lee wanted to create a character with a disability, so he chose blind. Matt Murdock, I don't believe the name had anything to do with it, but at first, before even thinking of Daredevil and everything, Stan Lee thought of Daredevil's father, Battling Jack Murdock. He wanted the father to be a boxer. He wanted the character himself to have Catholic influences, and he wanted just Daredevil to be raised differently. He didn't want to be raised as a boxer, despite being raised by a boxer. He wanted to be raised to be a lawyer instead, like the opposite of a boxer. We all know Daredevil's origin. Father shot, didn't grow up with mother, became the man without fear. Daredevil with the ability of heightened senses, including smell, hearing, touch, and having like sort of a radar to his mind, despite not being able to see. Jack Kirby helped design the suit. Jack Kirby was basically Stan Lee's best partner at the time. He was an incredible artist. The suit, however, from his first appearances, was yellow and brown, of all things. Something that I personally kind of like. I like seeing like flashbacks in Daredevil comics where he's wearing that. But although he did wear yellow and brown, it wasn't for very long. It was only 7 issues they wore this before Bill Everett, the artist, was like, you know what, yellow and brown, it's not working for me. Let's change it instead to red. So they changed the suit to full red like we know today. Daredevil suit hasn't changed too much throughout time. It kind of remained the same, just all one layer of red, got the devil horns and everything like that. Fun fact about this, that's basically the main premise of his origin story, but little fun fact about him. His origin story is, so as a young boy, Matt Murdock pushed a man out of the way from a truck crashed, spilled chemicals, went right into Daredevil's eyes. That's how he got the powers. Going back to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, same origin, same exact street, same exact truck. Fell, hit a boy who was pushing a blind man out of the way, and the chemicals splashed over the road. A person who bought four turtles was walking by at the time, dropped the cage by accident out of the fright of this car crash, and the turtles all fell into the chemicals and went into the sewers. The exact same chemicals that blinded Matt Murdock. Through those chemicals, these turtles grew up in the sewers and became mutants, teenage turtles. I should have said that in the other way. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And that's how they became the turtles. This all happened in Hell's Kitchen within Daredevil's time and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles time. Same street, same truck, everything. So the origin story is the exact same, although they are different universes. Since Ninja Turtles isn't owned by Marvel and Daredevil is only Marvel, there are many hints in some Daredevil comics that the Ninja Turtles are out there. Same as Ninja Turtle comics, as they were a comic book before they were a cartoon and a movie and stuff like that. There were many hints that Daredevil was out there at night. They talk about a devil in the street, on the rooftops going out at night, although none of the turtles have seen, just like Matt Murdock talked about rumors of mutant turtles running around. Although they were both in the same areas at the time, they never actually had a crossover yet, at least not a canon or official crossover, as far as I know. Matt Murdock battles the Hand, a secret ninja group, just like the Ninja Turtles fight the Foot, a secret ninja group. So there's a lot of inspirations around each other. That's kind of neat there. I want to do Daredevil this week because Last Ronin came out. Do you have fun facts that you want to talk
Yeah,
about?
I do have some fun facts. So, as you mentioned, created by Stan Lee and Bill Everett, Jack Kirby had a little bit of input. Now, nothing is really confirmed with a lot of the Jack Kirby stuff. It's not fully confirmed of like what he contributed to certain characters, just because we don't have like the actual recorded, material. But one thing that we do know is he's the one who decided
Billy
that
Club.
Daredevil would have a Billy Club,
Yep,
which
the Billy
is
Club.
really cool contribution. As you mentioned, Jack Murdock was like a big focus of Stan Lee, even possibly before Matt Murdock, which is kind of interesting to kind of reverse engineer a superhero.
Yeah, he thought
Um,
of the father before the character.
yeah, which is bizarre. As you mentioned, he gets the red suit in issue number 7. The artist Wally Wood is the one who introduced the what would become the modern red uniform. And yeah, so the yellow suit is thought of as like the early one. Only lasts for 6 issues, not really a big thing.
Only 6 issues, though it is shown in several flashback stories for practically any run of Daredevil when they go like this happened back in the early days. It's Matt in the yellow suit, which is
Yeah,
cool, even though it's just 7 issues in real time and one tie into the Amazing Spider-Man.
yeah. So the Mike Murdock story was done pretty early on in Daredevil's career. It was his, you know,
It was his fake identity they
yeah,
used to
basically fake
prove that.
identity that was also twin brother.
Yeah,
It actually was so confusing to readers that the writers decided we're going to drop it altogether, and
yeah.
that's when they did like the whole death of Mike Murdock storyline. Now it's
Mhm.
coming back to comics, of course, under Chip Zdarsky. But yeah, fun fact: the editors were like, "This is confusing everyone. We're getting rid of
This is
this."
dumb.
Yeah. Anyway, Stan Lee did a 31 issue run, and he says that one of his favorite stories of his career came from his run on Daredevil when uh, Matt Murdock defends a blind Vietnam veteran about a crime. And yeah, Stan cites that as one of his or cited that as one of his favorite stories that he ever wrote.
Cool.
So yeah, I've never actually read the story, so
Yeah,
I
I don't
don't
think
actually know too much of what it's about. But
I probably.
anyway, in the 70s, Daredevil went through a bit of a rough patch. It jumped around from writer to writer. Some big names like Jerry Conway and Marv Wolfman got on the book. Basic things were done.
Nothing major.
It's not nothing too big, but Bullseye was introduced during this time period, and Black Widow was brought into the book for a little bit. So some things that would become bigger in Daredevil lore, but uh, nothing really big happened until Roger McKenzie took over as the writer. Roger McKenzie is mostly known for getting kicked off the book by Frank Miller. So Frank Miller had been doing the art for Roger McKenzie, and Denny O'Neil was the editor. And one day, Frank Miller goes to Denny O'Neil and goes, "Yeah, I do not like this guy's scripts at all." So Denny O'Neil's like, "All right, he's fired. You're the writer now." So
Damn. Oof.
Frank Miller takes over on Daredevil, which would become quite the iconic run.
Probably
Um,
my favorite Daredevil run, if I had to really think about it.
it's definitely, if not, most people's favorites, it's in their top three, I would say.
Hmm.
He has some iconic stories, of course, such as Daredevil 181. But
Hmm.
one of the more important things that Miller does during this run is making Kingpin Daredevil's primary villain, as opposed to being a Spider-Man villain, which he was beforehand.
As a Spider-Man villain, he was one of those characters that was very like a mustache twirling, like "I'll get you
Yeah,
next time, Spider-Man." But Frank Miller wanted a villain like that. He wanted a kingpin of crime, but he didn't want to make a character. He wanted a character that already existed before and has moved up in ranks. So he
yeah,
asked the editor if he could use Kingpin, and they're just like, yeah, I don't think we're using him on Spider-Man like anytime within the next 20 years or something. So go for it."
yeah,
So Frank Miller made the character, and say you're twirling mustache villain, a character who had a big ego, but was also extremely brutal, evil, beat his employees if they did something wrong, hired assassins to kill reporters when they came close to finding out what he really was and stuff like that.
yeah. Um, so then Miller ends up leaving the series after issue 191, but and Denny O'Neil takes over. He goes from editor to writer. But then, of course, Frank Miller would come back to write possibly the best Daredevil story of all time, Daredevil Born Again, possibly one of the best comic stories of all time, uh, which is, the definitive Daredevil story.
Yeah,
So he
it's
writes that.
very for those who don't know, it's a very dark story that deals with Daredevil's trust issues and depression. Karen Page being a bit of a junkie, and it's very much what inspired Daredevil season 3 as well. For those who have seen the Netflix show, it's very good, and it's brought up a lot in comics today. Kingpin
Yeah.
blew up his house, so
Yeah. Um, then after that, Ann Nesenti takes over on Daredevil, and at that time becomes the longest running writer on Daredevil for 4.25 years.
meh.
In her run, she covers some newer issues: feminism, drug abuse,
Yeah.
nuclear war, animal rights, and her most important thing is she introduces Typhoid Mary, who becomes fairly big in the Daredevil lore.
Mhm.
The 90s kind of a more dead period for Daredevil, but it's able to definitely get revived in 1998 under Daredevil Guardian Devil by Kevin Smith, which goes under the Marvel Knights imprint.
Mhm.
So Daredevil was kind of dead in the water. Kevin Smith helps bring it back with a very interesting story.
Very good
Uh,
story.
in the 2000s, Daredevil is taken off again because he got a lot of iconic runs. It starts with Daredevil Yellow in the really early 2000s, which focuses on Daredevil's origin. It's from the Color series by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. It's a pretty iconic story. Um, in Later in the 2000s, Brian Michael Bendis ends up taking over on Daredevil,
Ooh.
which is like I mentioned, if Frank Miller's not your iconic run, it's probably Brian Michael Bendis on Daredevil.
Such a good run. Oh my
That
god.
there's a lot of iconic things that come out of them, which is what one of them being the outing of the secret identity of Matt Murdock, which
Which he did
is
like right away. This
yeah, he
isn't
did it
like
very
his
quickly.
Superman the Truth, where it's just like Superman came out and revealed his identity. Some guy revealed Daredevil's identity, and Matt Murdock denied it for years. And despite people coming with proof, he was like, nah, Photoshop, man. thing. He
Yeah,
denied it the entire time until he was forced to unmask himself.
yeah.
So
Um,
interesting.
Yeah, and then other people such as Ed Brubaker, Mark Wade, Charles Soule, now Chip Zdarsky have written Daredevil, and since 2001 has become one of the most steady characters in all of comic books of having continuously good runs.
Yeah.
Um, one thing that I think is pretty interesting, Denny O'Neil, listen, a great comic creator of his time, mostly known for his Bat stuff, but one of his greatest contributions to Daredevil, other than getting Frank Miller to write the book, is he talked to Frank Miller about changing Daredevil's style to be more like a ninja and more like a Street Fighter type type of character,
Mhm.
which Frank Miller took into effect in his run, which hadn't really been done in the runs before him. So a big thank you is owed to Denny O'Neil for his many comic contributions, but one of which being making Daredevil like the king of the streets, which is very cool to me. So yeah,
Mhm.
those that's some of the basic history of Daredevil and some of the basic facts. A lot of cool history to this character.
One thing that's a little confusing that I could kind of help explain. He has three origins that are all kind of similar to each other. You got the Stanley origin, very basic. My father died, and I will avenge him. I will avenge him, kind of thing. Then Frank Miller wrote his own origin, his own take, because he thought the original origin was too basic, too simple. So he wrote The Man Without Fear with John Romita Jr. doing art. It's about, I think it's 6 issues. Great book. It brought in from the comics for the first time the one that you see in the Netflix show, not a suit, just all black with the black scarf around the face, which was first made from the Incredible Hulk TV show. Matt Murdock cameos in that. Well, he has an episode in that where they couldn't afford an actual suit, so they did that for the budget. Um, After that, a few only in like about not so long later in the early 2000s, we got Daredevil Yellow, which is a different origin by Jeff Loeb, who where they go back to the yellow suit and they kind of retell Stanley's tale, but they make it more of a romance book with Karen Page rather than a dark story with Frank Miller when Karen and dealing with like Elektra, like a young Elektra. This one is more romance. It's very much focuses on him and Karen Page, and it's more of a swashbuckling tale. It's very wholesome, but very good as well. So some people choose to say that Manuel of Fear is his true origin. Some people like Daredevil Yellow. I personally like Daredevil Yellow. I think it's a lot more simplistic, but some people prefer Man Without Fear. Yeah.
Yeah. Some interesting stuff of in live action and in media really. So in the 80s, in the 70s and 80s, there were some failed Daredevil projects that tried to happen. The funniest one to me is in the 1980s, ABC planned to have a Daredevil animated show, and it would have featured him having a guide dog named Lightning the Super Dog, which would have been a guide dog with a guide dog with superpowers.
I didn't know that.
Um, yeah, it's a good thing that didn't get made because that would have been terrible.
Yeah.
In addition, in 1975, they actually planned to make a Daredevil and Black Widow show. Uh, a woman named Angela Bowie actually got the rights to Daredevil for TV, and apparently there's pictures of her. She actually dressed as Black Widow herself and had an actor dress as Daredevil, but I've never seen these pictures. I don't know if these pictures actually exist, but the TV show obviously never got made. But as early as 1975, trying to get Daredevil done in live action.
Hmm.
In 1983, ABC again tried to do a Daredevil show, and it actually had a pilot, but it never got aired. And then Daredevil first appears in The Trial of the Incredible Hulk, which
Yep.
is
That's
a
what I was
movie
talking
that's a
about.
tie into the Hulk
Show.
show.
That's what I
And
was talking about with the suit.
yeah, he has like a black outfit.
Yeah,
It
not
was
seen in comics before, but then Frank Miller used it, and
in
Starsky used it.
the man without fear, and then obviously we know the Netflix show ends up getting made much
And using
later.
that suit as well.
There's actually still been an attempt to get him on a show, another animated show, but it's never really come to fruition. So they've been trying to get a to try to get a Daredevil show going in the animation style, but not happening so far. And then obviously in film, the Ben Affleck film is the one that gets made in 2003. In Elektra, which is the kind of tie-in film to Daredevil,
Yeah.
Ben Affleck was in a scene of that, but in a dream sequence, but it ended up getting cut.
Oh,
But
weird.
apparently it's in the director's cut. I've never seen the director's cut, nor do I ever plan to.
I
But
plan to.
um,
I
yeah,
will.
and here on Wikipedia it says a young Matt Murdock briefly appears in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse during the climax of the film. I
Yeah.
don't remember
Yeah.
that.
It's very very briefly. It's when Miles is fighting Kingpin in like the where everything's like flickering in and out in the lab. It's on the train. You see like a young Matt Murdock, a young redheaded boy with the red round glasses and a cane. He
Oh,
flickers in for a second.
I don't remember that, but okay, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Um, yes, that's
One more
history
thing
of
that I
Daredevil.
will say. Daredevil, as we all know, the TV series was canceled 2 years ago. Ever since it was canceled, it had to no one could touch like the rights to Daredevil live action for 3 years. Um, or 2 years or something like that. It's a certain amount of time, but 1 month from the day this releases is when Marvel Studios gets the right to Daredevil back. So if you're listening on Friday, the 30th, one more month and Daredevil has the rights back. Or I guess Marvel Studios has the rights to Daredevil back. Will they do anything with that? We don't know, but let's hope so. I mean, people spam DC saying release the Snyder Cut, and we're getting that. So save Daredevil. Hashtag just save Daredevil. But yeah, that's the history lesson, right? Is that all?
Yeah, that's all the fun facts I got. So Daredevil's a very interesting character. A lot of interesting stories behind the character,
One of
and
my
yeah,
favorites.
I would love to see some of those early drawing drafts from Jack Kirby and Bill Everett. I'm sure they came up with some really interesting designs. I wish we could see more of them.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'd love to see the 1975 show pictures where the woman who was trying to get the show made cast herself as Black Widow.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. As early as 1975, trying to get a Daredevil and Black Widow show made, like that's shows the uh I guess the power of the character. But even then, like Black Widow was not a big part of Daredevil's life in 1975. So
No, she is more now, or especially in the early 2000s. But yeah, definitely not that big.
so
But yeah,
also an animated Daredevil show would absolutely kill, and I would love that.
yeah, no kidding. But yeah,
But anyway,
that's seriously, listening. If you want us to do more of this, let us know because we
yeah,
definitely enjoy it and we'll do
we
more.
enjoy the history lessons. So
Yeah,
yeah, that was a lot of fun.
if you guys like that.
Uh
Uh,
anyway, that's about the episode.
yeah, roughly. I guess a few things that we could say as we're leaving. Price of Hero, the Price of Hero Pays is our comic that we're making. It's almost done. It's well, I mean, our Indiegogo's almost done, I should say. There's about a little bit less than a month left for you guys to donate. We are just about 90% to our budget. Really close. Really hoping to hit it. I'm sure we will, but we're almost there. So check it out. Link in my bio, the link in his bio, the link in the Hero Stories Instagram bio, or if you're on Indiegogo.com, just search a hero story or search the Price Hero Pays. You should be able to find it. Our hero is a spire. He has a white and green suit. Also coming up on a Hero Story YouTube channel, probably within this week, myself, JD, Harper, Comic Rebirth, and Tyler, Comic Boy have both been on the show before. We all watched Batman v Superman this past week, and we recorded our reaction. I'm currently editing a compilation, trying to bring it down to 10 minutes, might be 15 or so. But we all had some kind of funny reactions to certain things and some good things to say. I love BVS. JD loves BVS. Harper doesn't love it. Tyler hates it. So we all force ourselves to kind of watch it together and argue throughout the whole thing. And I think it's pretty entertaining. So I'm cutting it up right now, and it should be on YouTube sometime this week. Well, probably the
I'm
weekend.
interested to see the little 10-minute or 10-15 minute cut there. I think most of my scenes you're just gonna see me staring up my TV in amazement of the holiness of BVS.
Well,
So
the first thing that happens with the video is you see the Warner Brothers logo, and JD just goes, "Oh, it's starting." Like, that's the very first thing that happens. So we both loved it, and there's even scenes where just like Tyler and Harper are arguing how bad it is, and we're just like, "Look, man, I'm just enjoying this movie."
listen,
Classic Batman v Superman.
I will die on that hill.
Yeah. So yeah, look at that video on a Hero Story YouTube channel pretty soon here.
Yeah, and maybe if you guys like that, we'll make that a more regular thing.
Yeah, because we were
watch some
talking
other
about,
films.
we have like some opposite things. JD and I both don't like Thor Ragnarok, but Tyler and Harper love it, so we might do that, or maybe we'll do Electra's director cut.
Oh God,
Yeah, a little movie watch.
kill me now.
Yeah, so look forward to that.
Yeah,
And yeah,
all
that's
right.
the episode.
All right, yeah, that's it for Hero Story. If you like what you hear, 5-star review helps on iTunes. If not, we appreciate a follow slash subscribe wherever you are. Check out our YouTube, herostory.com no, youtube.com/a hero story, or just go on the Hero Story comics website, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, check out our comic, all that good stuff. Plug. Oh yeah, I can't do this at the end of the episode.
We already
Whatever.
did.
Follow, subscribe, like it. For Hero Story, I'm JD.
I'm Hunter, and thanks for being a hero.
And remember, every second is a gift. Goodbye.
What?